The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Love the Stones. What's up, Kev? I hear you want to get paid. I know a place that actually gives you checks when you work, bro. You pop this logo I got here on that microphone, will straighten shit out, man. Come home, Kev. Bring that gray-headed bald prick with you, too. And come home. That's the go home.
Thanks, Paul. Love you.
All right. Very good.
All right. Thanks for the surprise, man. Good to see
what this.
Good to see my fucking my boy.
Good to see your boy. Good to see you again.
Pretty good impersonation.
Thank you. That's called on the fly, is what that's called.
Well,
juggling the technology here. Lest that was fake Triple H. Lest Jerry McDevitt is preparing a draft.
No, you put Paul, so that's we're safe.
Okay.
They hate that.
Right,
They hate that.
This is Kliq This. Back again.
Look, I'm smiling.
I got you to smile.
You got me to, yeah, you've had good luck. I drove down here, it started raining. I was like, ah.
Listen, now that we have a new toy, I'll run that thing into the fucking ground by next week.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, what has been going on this week? So much going on this week. Let's hear from our fans first. RJ. Thanks for well, how are you, Kevin? We should always start with you start with the personal before the business.
I would say that the Saturday to Monday between New Year's or Christmas Eve and actually the functioning day, January the 2nd, was just brutal. Brutal. I've never not watched in some form or fashion or been someplace when they brought in the new year, and I went from the football game, the Georgia football game, directly to Sports Center. I mean, my wife went to bed around 10 o'clock. Neither one gave two fucks. So,
yeah.
But besides that, I mean, fuck, I just feel like I wake up every morning and I'm just on a merry-go-round. Just fun.
Joyous. Yeah.
Yeah.
RJ, thanks for the advice of knowing your worth today on the Kliq This podcast. Because of your comments, I went to my boss at my day job and asked for a raise. He came back to me with $3 more an hour. Thank you, Kevin Nash and Kayfabe Sean.
That really made me happy.
And the great show every week. Absolutely.
That made me happy.
Absolutely. I felt like
that was kind of the point. You know, some people were like, "Oh, so they need that." No, if I needed this fucking money, I would be gone. But I will say this: whoever out there is responsible, as John Malkovich said, pay the man his money. Pay him his money.
What film?
Rounders. Remember when Damon beats him, and he catches him breaking the cookies, and that's how he picks off when he knows he's got. He goes, yeah, and Damon gets the money back, and then he says, no, they're gonna fuck him up. He says, no. Pay the man his money. So
we just added another impression to the awards for next year.
John Malkovich.
Next December. Race Chavez Plays says, thank you, Sean. I think I'm going to get what I'm worth this year. You had passion in your voice that inspired. Hashtag get what you're worth. Andy B 540. When I'm working at like 3 a.m., I'm so giddy that I get to watch this later on. Thank you both so much for all you do. You're both more loved than I think you'll ever know. Here's to a good year. Thank you, Andy. That was lovely. Brando Hendy. I don't know what it is about the Kevin Nash podcast that keeps me coming back. Me either. It's not the pay.
No.
But I think it's similar to why I enjoy getting drunk with my uncle.
I'll take it.
Russ Brewer, best wishes for this new year to both of you guys. I never miss a show on Mondays. I just want to thank you so much. My mom had a massive stroke Friday night, so brought in the new year stressed as hell. But you guys made me laugh for the first time in 2023. Here's to a better 2023.
Yeah, sorry for the. I mean, it's.
You know, I think that's a poignant place, Kevin, to bring something up about the comments and fucking YouTube, and it just seemed, it really does seem to be a haven. There's plenty of nice comments, and we see those, and we appreciate. And I pull a lot of them, you know, for here when we do this. But you know, I don't need a guy whose mom had a massive stroke on Friday, Russ, to go in and watch a show to have a laugh or to reminisce or, you know, talk wrestling or sports, and have to see some douchebags post about like vaccines, just some misinformation and stupidity and trolling about vaccines and shit. It makes it a downer, Kev.
Or like the guy that said, you know, taking Hamlin's tragedy that he had on the football field, and then saying, "Wow, I wonder what causes cardiac arrest. Maybe he didn't have a beer the night before. Maybe he went cold turkey." Right. You know, and you know, basically trying to poke me because my son, who had a cardiac arrest and he had stopped drinking beer, and because, you know, that's one thing. As he crumbled to the field, I mean, that's to me is a time to think of humor and to think of getting a shot in. You know, it's just like here's a guy that's 24 years old, 2 years younger than my son, by far in much better shape than he is, and they got to my house. My son went into cardiac arrest. They zapped him one time. He had a heartbeat and was in the ambulance in 7 minutes. It was 35 minutes, and he was still on the field.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in the second segment, and
it's just like one of those things where it's just like, you know, I don't want to. I want somebody to tell me that they got a raise. I want somebody to tell me that, you know, that they are having some hard times and that we did pick them up. But I don't need somebody to take a poke at me, take a poke at my kid, or bring up some one-time incident that I had with my son when he came home drunk because my kid was taught by a man to be alpha and not be a little bitch, you know? Like, yeah, my son he came after me. God bless him. And he went for my eye. God bless him. I fucking raised a man. I didn't raise a fucking pussy like the rest of you fucking pussies out there right now that get behind your keyboards and you say your bullshit and fucking, yeah, I'm stuttering. Am I stuttering right now, motherfucker? I don't think so. You fucking pussy. Why don't you go in your room down in your mother and father's basement and look at your participation awards and wonder where the fuck shit went wrong. Because you know what? When I grew up, you got one thing. You got a championship fucking trophy. If it was a big enough fucking deal, you got a second place. The only award that went team-wise was the most valuable player. There wasn't a participant. You were called a fucking scrub. You were called the guy that was the last guy picked in gym class. That's who the fuck you are. That's why you've got to get on a keyboard and fucking try to measure up. And then when I come back at you, what the fuck do you do? What the fuck do? You take your shit down. Because you can't even take the heat fucking on my keyboard. I'll be in Pensacola at the end of the month in February, signing at the Comic-Con. Please come up, get in my face, show me who the fuck you are, get in my face and be a man. Challenge me. See if this 63-year-old motherfucker does. By the time you know what hits you, motherfucker, when was the last time you got in with somebody that was 6'10", 300 pounds in shape that's been fighting his whole fucking life? Think about it, you motherfucking pussies.
Well, I need you out of jail, so please don't approach Kevin in Pensacola. And
no, I'll have a. I'm gonna have a fucking where they've got to sign off, and then also that they have to
a waiver.
Yeah,
waiver.
But they also have,
injury.
They also have to waive the what is it, the right to stand your ground in Florida.
In Florida, that's true.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd shoot anybody. Fucking pussies. I wonder what it's like to be just a fucking bitch. To get up every morning, fucking, and just be a bitch. That's got to be. I know it, and I know that you fucking have to hate me. I know you have to hate me because everywhere I go, fucking people, oh, hey, yeah. And to the asshole that fucking said, you need to be nicer in the airports. Yeah. After 300,000 miles a year and 147,000 segments, you know what I need to do? I need to be nice in the airport. Fuck you. I'm either coming home from work or going to work.
Did he say you or wrestlers in general?
Me.
Was it you? Okay.
Yeah, he said, I need to be nicer. And as I said, I responded to him. I said, yeah, you're the guy that finds out when I'm coming in and is down in baggage claim with 10 items that you want me to sign, and they're Funkos, and you're gonna come up to me and think I'm gonna sign 10 Funkos that you're gonna sell for $99 on eBay. Eat a fucking dick.
Okay. I think an easier thing would be to take the comments down. What do you think? Just so it's not a downer for anybody.
Yeah.
People come on, they can enjoy the show without having to,
I would still, and if they want to put a comment, take the time to go to Kliq This, our Twitter page, and put your comment on that.
Fair enough. There it is. At Kliq This Podcast. On Twitter.
That way you got to be a real person. You can't come up with, Johnny Hog Smoke on your YouTube thing. You got to come up with something. And that way, if you're a douchebag, you can be blocked.
It's my new gimmick, by the way, Johnny Hog Smoke. Thank you for that. Giving me that.
You're welcome.
Duck Life 420, another episode, and I have another blunt rolled up, ready to smoke, ready to listen, ready to let your beautiful voices carry me away into a new year. Sean's robe is awesome. It was. And I'm glad you enjoy our beautiful voices. Kevin's been known to sing on this show. That's clearly what you're referencing. His bird-like voice.
I was going to sing, but I got on a tangent.
That's okay. It's real.
But when it comes down to it, it's just, all I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair. Wouldn't it be lovely? A little My Fair Lady for you.
That's it. Anytime you can whip out a musical,
you gotta go.
Makes it a special episode.
You gotta go.
Brigadoon coming later. Tim Hastings, another great one, fellows. Yes, scientifically, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. This is what gives me peace. Love the shirt, Kev. Once a gander, always a gander. you want to explain that? Is that a
313 Michigander?
The Michigan.
So 313 is the D. My phone number growing up was that. I was so old that they would throw. It was called Orleans.
Phone number was 6.
Yeah, but it was Orleans. So it was OR.
Oh, that's right. They did the letter for the region, right? The region.
Yeah. Well, it would be like 313 and then OR 676131. Yeah. So, yeah. So that was OR was 31.
That's back in the day, bro.
Fuck yeah, man.
Like,
but that was my phone number was 6766131, and it was of course 313.
It's on the honeymooners they used to do. Bensonhurst 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've said it earlier though. When you picked up the phone, and somebody, hey, I'm on it. Be like, okay.
Oh, the extension, right?
The party line. You know, you got a whole bunch of, you know.
Or mom doesn't even look. She just starts fucking dialing over your conversation. It's like,
hey guys, Eric Bischoff here, and just want to call a quick timeout. I want to tell your listeners about what I've been telling everybody at over at 83 Weeks, quite a while now, about all the cool things that are happening over at AdFreeShows.com.
We're kicking off 2023 with an all-new edition of Title Chase as Conrad dives into the moments, memories, and matches of the 10 pounds of silver, the NWA U.S. Heavyweight Championship.
Man, I am doing great. Like my friend Steve Kern likes to say, gratitude is the attitude, and that's where I'm at.
I like it. Well, I had a blast talking about the old WCW Heavyweight Championship with you recently, and we thought, hey, let's get down a rabbit hole about something maybe a little more old school. Tell everybody what you're holding there.
I am holding the 10 pounds of silver NWA United States Heavyweight Championship belt.
We get a peek behind the curtain on an all-new edition of The Insiders as Conrad sits down with former WWE writer and current Impact producer Jimmy Jacobs.
You start to realize that you're one weird interaction with Vince away from being in the doghouse or being fired.
Wow.
And then you just start to behave in a way to try to not get fired. And then your ideas become ideas in an effort to not get fired. And pretty soon you have a whole bunch of people that are playing to not lose.
No spray tans necessary on our latest premium watch-along event, as Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick sat down for the first time ever to discuss what really happened in one of the biggest and most infamous main events in history, Starrcade 97.
It's been 25 years since it happened, and this is the first time that we've ever talked about. Nobody came to me that night after the match in the locker room, at the TV the next day. You know, it was just we just moved on from it. You know, and but I did what I was supposed to do out of the deal. You know, I don't know what was told in the production meeting, what people were expecting. And, you know, I was getting pulled from two different sides.
That's just a small taste of what we've got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why Ad-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at AdFreeShows.com.
Poe the Raven, the mascot in Baltimore, made quite the appearance. Do we have the video of this? So there it is. The Raven's on the bottom.
Does he realize how much danger he is in just being here?
Yeah, God.
Whoa, look at that! Look at that!
With the voiceover, I love it. Dude, the cast gimmick lives.
I mean, I'm just waiting for somebody to steal that motherfucking finger poke of doom.
That's which we got to have the right 2 mascots do that.
I'm just really, I'm thinking maybe Tyson Fury.
Did you see the cut after the there were guys in the stands at the game who were like high-fiving. It wasn't just because Poe the Raven got out with the kiss. They remembered that shit. I mean, they were like, the guys were like popping in the audience, like guys like my age or maybe around my age, maybe a little younger. But high five and it just shows to go you, man. That shit. And we talk every week about trying to recapture that old, like that Attitude Era type excitement.
So we had this conversation, you and I.
Yes.
And the guy said something, and I made a comment that without Scott and I jumping, there would have been no Attitude Era. And the guy, one of the comments was, I don't even remember you being in the Attitude Era. Blah, 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 blah. And then the other guy said, yeah, wow. Like, that's what he put, like, wow, without that, like, wow. Like, how dare he? So let's go back and look at it. Scott and I, before we jumped, my last match was against Shawn Michaels. Better in Omaha.
Good friends.
Good friends.
Enemies.
Yeah, that one. So what would have changed? Now, I would have still been Diesel. Brett probably would have got a shot to make up for the WrestleMania. I would have probably went off with Taker. I mean, things would have, like, where was the Attitude going to come from? On the other side, you had the Dungeon of Doom. You had Sting with the blonde hair and the colorful face paint. Where was the Attitude going to come from? They were just going to decide one day that, hey, here's an idea. Let's grab some aluminum baseball bats. Let's do Hulk Hogan would have came down with the yellow and red on, and he would have been in yellow and red. He would never have been in the black.
Additionally, though, when you just look at WCW, forget about WWE for a moment. Look at WCW. You guys go over there. You become yourselves.
Right.
Right. You leave as Diesel. You leave as Razor. You become Kevin and Scott. So all that theatrical stuff, let's call it, got stripped away all of a sudden. So that led to, we talked also about, remember when UFC first started to get slick?
Yes.
In the beginning, they had to do like these little outpost cities where they didn't have laws against beating each other to death. But once it went to Vegas and Philly and New York and stuff, they started getting real slick with production and everything. Those promos, those early, like Tito Ortiz and what was the dude with the cross? He would come to the ring, Chemo. Those promos were NWO promos.
And the thing is, too, is the first week Scott came out. The second week I came out. The third week, we won the ratings and didn't look back for 83 weeks. So we forced Vince McMahon to change to a more gritty attitude. So if you're not pounding Vince McMahon for 83, it took him 83 weeks. It took him 40 to make the change. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you guys showed the direction in production and in the promos and in that the attitude. You had ECW, which was lighting the way for the in-ring product, more believability. People that wanted to believe that these people might be fucking each other up here a little bit.
All of a sudden, we started talking on interviews.
Yeah.
The brother, let me tell you something, brother, let me tell you something, son. Those promos were gone. We talked just like this.
Yeah.
You got a problem? What are you going to do about it?
I've asked you, and Eric too, when I talked to Eric on camera, if I was in the position of having to bring Hogan into that type of environment where you had to cut promos that way, like you guys were doing, I don't know what I would have told him. I don't know how I would have. Like, you just go, hey, Terry, we're going to bring it down for this one, okay? We're going to bring it down. Like, how do you tell a Hulk Hogan that stuff's is of a different time?
Yeah. No, and the thing is that's in his DNA. Because if he cuts a promo to come out to sing karaoke now to his hideaway, he does it in that, brother, come on, it's in his DNA. That's what he's comfortable with. He did such a great job coming out of his comfort zone for that.
But that had to take a little bit of massaging, I would imagine, right? Like,
but he also realized that we were doing something and getting a response, and he wanted, because he was going to be the mouthpiece for that, for the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he had to bring it down, and then we'd feed him info. We'd give him a little bit of information. Hulk's one of the smartest guys I've ever met in this business. I saw something the other day on one of these comments, and the guy said, "You really hate Hogan, don't you?" I'm thinking to myself, like, that's probably one of the 10 closest people that I have in the industry. That Terry and I could not talk for 8 months, and we can get on the phone and talk, and we'll talk for 3 hours, and we'll catch up on each other's lives. Like, I just got a call from a documentary place out of London, and they were going to do a Hulk Hogan promo. They wanted to include the Gawker stuff. So they came through my management, and they made an offer. And I said to my agent, I said, let me first check and make sure that Hulk's cool with this. They haven't even talked to Hulk. This was some Bush League backdoor, and they were going to try to get Gawker information out of me. And I just asked him, I said, "Hey, do you know anything about this?" He said, "No." And I said, "Cool." I said, "Then I'll tell him to fuck off." And he said, "Thank you. Love you, brother." Like that, like, it's as simple as that. Like, I don't have to be with him 24/7. But when it comes down to somebody trying to bushwhack him, I got his back. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, I'm not sure, I know he's got mine.
Right.
So, and in this business, if you got 10 motherfuckers that'll do that for you, if you got 3 motherfuckers.
This little Joey Diaz show up?
Yeah. If you got 3 motherfuckers, imagine 10 motherfuckers showing up. Fucking take over the world.
But you're absolutely right with and I have to confess that I did not think in those terms. I would definitely have credited it with starting the most interesting and compelling ratings war wrestling has ever had. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out, and that the jump was the shot heard round the world as far as that goes. But the assignation of that Attitude Era to the WWE product, if you look at the trickle down, you have a good case to be made there.
Well, okay, let's just take one iconic character that will never be duplicated.
Louis De Palma from Taxi.
Exactly. The Undertaker went from the dead man to a biker.
Correct.
You tell me.
Same shit.
You tell me.
Yep.
What does that happen if Diesel and Razor are still in WWE?
Exactly.
Fuck no.
Yep.
Doesn't take somebody with CTE to figure that out.
What is we talking about this, Sean?
Your speech therapy's working. I haven't heard you stutter once this week, by the way.
I took you know why I took a half a Xanax before I came on tonight? Because I figure One guy said, he goes, I kind of stutter when I get excited. And I said, well, what if I take the fucking edge off?
Yeah, your edge was off 5 minutes ago when you were talking about YouTube.
Yeah, but I didn't stutter.
No, you did not stutter. You did not stutter. Half a zany. I figured that's like you get like a tic tac for you.
It is, but it's
does a little something.
So far, so good.
All right.
Are you feeling stuck making minimum payments on your credit card debt? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? Get rid of your credit card debt and lower your monthly payments right now at SaveWithConrad.com.
Karen Jarrett, all embroiled in something. I come across this tweet. So it was actually somebody who asked us about it. Blue Elvis said, I just wanted to ask Nash if he's heard about the feud between Max Caster and Karen Jarrett, all because of a rap he did that took a shot involving the famous TNA love triangle. It even involves your fave, Kelly. So,
I'm not aware of this.
Yeah, it's the, trying to read it here.
That's Billy in the middle, right?
Yeah. And Karen's reply was, hey, Tony Khan, your little boy, Max, thought he was cute and went somewhere he should have never, ever gone. You and him have no idea what you've gotten started.
Is this a war? Is this a war?
I don't know. To what end, you'd have to ask, other than just drawing attention to the product, which maybe, maybe that's okay.
I'm just now looking at this when you got to use my name to get heat after 12 years.
That was Kurt throwing in a little bit.
And Kurt's like me. Kurt ain't getting in the ring again. What Kelly have to say?
No, but just some attention to the product maybe. Listen, anytime we sit here, and you who've been in the business 3,000 years.
Go back. I didn't read what Kelly said.
I keep linked in this tweet. I have DM'd Karen Jarrett to privately ask her, and I'm waiting for her response. But I want to go ahead and publicly make a statement that the only way I can be linked to Kurt is we were co-workers. Sorry, but thanks for the Monday morning entertainment. Where was she? Who brought her in here? Who mentioned her?
I mean, Barbie was fucking with Tess that whole time.
I don't know. It's a convoluted chain. But anyway, anytime you have to ask, was this a work? My hat's off a little bit because it's making us wonder. It's making you wonder. So this is leading up to, I guess, what's happening as we speak, or what will soon be happening as we speak here with Jeff getting in the ring. And
I mean, this.
So it could have been.
This could be a work, and I mean, but in a world where no match means shit. Now, I mean, this is the first I've seen of this, so I'm enthralled.
You're intrigued, see?
Right.
I love when that happens.
You have to blur the lines because,
Mm-hmm. Here it is. So Jeff Jarrett promises a receipt for Max Caster tonight. We'll check the rating. We'll see if there's a bump. Hope they get paid.
Be nice if they just really went at it and like busted each other open hard way.
I don't know. Can the network air that anymore?
I don't see why not.
Is blood allowed still? Okay.
I don't know. I haven't watched the program in quite some time.
Next week, everybody, which will be, you will join us. If you're joining us for a live taping, it will be Wednesday.
Dom just said that they bleed like fourth graders at AEW.
Okay.
So I don't know what that reference is. Oh, I get it. They start earlier nowadays.
Oh my goodness! I actually looked to see if it said that like an idiot. So I was like, Dom, what are you smoking? January 11th. So next week, next Wednesday,
Angel
January
Dust.
11th.
It's making a comeback.
So it's just a couple of nights from now, guys. If you're watching this on the Monday, this Wednesday, we will be doing another live audience taping. So if you are on AdFreeShows, on one of the plans that allows you this, please come and join us again. It was a big success last month. Everyone liked being a part of it. We like talking to everybody too. So
I gave my entire check to St. Jude.
That's good. And they actually they asked for more. It was one of the few times they said, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, they said exactly.
Please.
I said, well, don't worry, because I'm going to send a couple more checks that are owed to me later on. And they said, yeah, good luck with that.
It's Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and come join us. You will have access to the pre-show meeting, the weekly meeting, which everyone seemed to enjoy, a little behind the scenes, a lot of the serious business we cover before going on the air, mostly references to cock.
You know what? I got to say this. Are you wearing a cup right now?
Yeah. I am.
Yeah, I got a cup on. I always wear a cup anytime I go into the podcast studio.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that nobody in the NFL wears a cup.
Is it not possible that they're more form-fitting, that they don't have these big, bulky ones like we have from Little League here?
Oh.
Pop Warner football. It was like a fucking salad bowl pressing on your gonads.
The smallest one you could wear would be like a UFC fighter's cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that just kind of,
it would be visible.
Yeah, it'd be visible. These guys look like it's I don't get it, man. Like a helmet to the 3-piece package would.
Even on your the thigh pads look even like
it's way smaller.
And
the receivers don't even wear them.
Right.
The receivers have like kickers, shoulder pads on. They're going to be going back to the Biletnikoff, like 1 bar pretty soon. Remember Biletnikoff had the 1 bar?
Gross. Yeah. When you had the option to basically just.
Yeah, they went from that to like the full cage, then the full cage with the blackout like Eric Dickerson had. And I've noticed
it's funny, if you look at look at either like Herschel Walker or maybe Earl Campbell, and they were running back, so their body gear was massive, but then they had the thin double gimmick on, so the least protected part of the body in the 70s was the head and face.
Yeah, but you could also you led with your head.
That's what I'm saying. It's insanity.
You led with your head down. You led with your head down.
And you could.
Yeah, now it's like that,
And the goalpost was in the center of the end zone. How many people got taken out by that thing on a fucking 7-yard cross?
Oh, God.
In route, boom. Least you have to worry about is the safety. So join us Wednesday in 2 days for the live taping, 6 p.m. Go to adfreeshows.com if you need more information. Kev, gotta find out what state this is. Here's a headline for you. Man forgets wife at rest stop, drives 100 miles before realizing it. This is real. It was on iHeartRadio. And what is the state there? It is. Oh, it's out of the country, if I remember. Am I wrong about that? Thailand. Yes. See, in Thailand, this is probably common practice. I don't know, but
I was going to say, if they're in Ukraine, somebody might have been walking artillery rounds up on him. He said, "Fuck this, I'm gone."
I'm gone. Boontam Chiamoon.
He's known for that.
His 49-year-old wife, Amnway, who's
they
obviously
wrote a song about him. Welcome to the Boontown.
Boontown Rats. Good band.
Yeah.
She must have been a very quiet woman. There's no way in the world I've ever been with anyone that I wouldn't have realized wasn't next to me for 100 miles. Ever.
Unless you paid $8,000 for her.
Right. Exactly.
You might have left her someplace.
I'll bet there's an option on those real dolls for a little voice box in there.
Yeah.
You can program what they say. Maybe that's coming. No pun intended. Did you know Dave & Buster's co-founder died? James Buster Corley committed suicide.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting story about the whole Dave.
He was trying to play that Operation Wolf. I don't know if you guys ever played that at Dave & Buster's, but it was you were a spy and you had to take over this submarine, and you dumped $7,000 into this fucking thing, and you got one try at the end to throw this loop onto the submarine. I think he probably finally figured out that you can't win, and he just said
that was the end.
That's it.
So
me and T used to fucking dump so much money into that thing.
What was it called?
I think it was called Operation Wolf.
So you've been to Dave & Buster's?
Oh yeah, me and T used
the one in Daytona. There's one over there by the.
No, we used to. This is when we lived in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it may not be a Dave & Buster's. It may have just been called like USA Arcade or some shit. But it was a giant arcade, and T and I would leave his room after playing video games all day, and then go up there and drop quarters in the.
What is this Buc-ees thing? You know that big Buc-ees by 95 there?
Yeah, that's a gas station.
What's the big building? Is it a restaurant or a store or a mall or a gas station?
It's got like 120 pumps.
But then there's this huge building.
Yeah.
Is it a restaurant too?
It's everything.
It's everything you want it to be.
It's got that when you walk into Cracker Barrel feeling, that little buy some shit.
Exactly.
It has that
candy.
It's got
some syrup.
and they also, I think, have every country western CD ever and I'm talking country and western. I'm not talking about country western. I'm talking about like Red Sovine, Song brought a tear to a glass eye. But it's got a little of everything. I'm
look at that. So you pump some gas, then you go in there, and there's sweets. You got pulled pork and sausage, for God's sakes. Look at that.
You can get your pork actually pulled there. It's in the back.
It's an extra. Look at that. Yes, there it is. The 6,000 pumps, because there's that many people needing to get gas at any one time.
And they built it out like in Daytona Beach. We have one, and there's this road called LPGA, and out there was they built the golf course for the LPGA, the Women's Pro Golf League, and so now everything on earth is moved out there, and the road that crosses over 95 is 2 lanes each way.
Yes.
So it's this bottleneck fuck up. Then they built Margaritaville, which was Jimmy Buffett's, one of his, bullshit. Yeah. And like the houses start at 300,000 and they're basically mobile homes. And there's, as far as you can see, they're building those, but they did put a Publix grocery store out there. So I guess that was to, suffice. It's just a clusterfuck.
It's a good restaurant on that LPGA road there. That not Brick House. What the hell is it called? Something House. Redstone.
I don't know. Vince Carter used to have a restaurant out there.
Give them a rub.
Yeah, Vince Carter used to have a restaurant out there.
So Dave and Buster. So they were 2 guys. One had a restaurant, and then one had the like an amusement park, not a park, but like an arcade next to it.
Right.
And people would notice would frequent both. They go to one and then go to the other, or go to one and then go to the other. So they just decided, hey, I think they started in Dallas. They were like, hey, well, let's smash it all together. It'll be a restaurant and an amusement place. Thank God they didn't Thank God it wasn't like a high colonic bar and a dentist's office.
Right.
Thank God it was like food and amusements. that got merged.
Did that-
Stonewood Grill just came to me.
Yeah, it was Stonewood is that's Vince Carter's old restaurant.
Okay.
There's a Stonewood in Ormond Beach, also on the Beach Road, and we used to have one on Dunlawton in Port Orange, but it closed.
So Dave and Buster's. It was two guys had the two businesses, and they smashed them together. How about that? So it is time for the stiff one of the week, and as always, it is brought to us by BlueChew.
Yay!
You know what? I am such a fan of BlueChew, Kevin. They are one of our most dedicated sponsors, maybe one of our oldest sponsors too. So I want something a little special for BlueChew this week. I figured we could maybe have somebody come in and tell us, Kevin, when I'm relaxing with one of my Tenta files after the matches, and I want a damn earthquake in my pants, you know where I turn? It ain't Arby's. That's right, BlueChew. This episode is sponsored by BlueChew. Guys, we know that confidence can take you far in life. That's especially true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. That's where BlueChew comes in. I usually take mine about 15 minutes before the match, so when I do the earthquake drop and impale my opponent with my tentacle, I'm dying over here. BlueChew. Hold on, I need to drink something. All right, there we go. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form. Chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. Take them anytime, day or night, in the locker room, in the restaurant, anywhere you are. Plan ahead. Be ready when the opportunity arises, and the process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. You'll receive your prescription within days. Okay, no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. Me and Typhoon used to talk about our rock-hard cocks. I don't want to talk about it with the doctor. BlueChew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped right to your door. I love taking my gimmick and then standing in the full-length mirror naked so I can look like the letter Q. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, guys, and BlueChew can help give you that confidence. So if you could benefit from that confidence, listen up here. My boy Kevin has a special deal. Try BlueChew free when you use promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the stiff one of the week.
Wow.
See ya, boys.
Thanks, John.
Always good to see John Tenta.
You know, it's crazy, but I heard that when Earthquake came, it was almost at the force of a tsunami.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
His cock was the third natural disaster.
Yeah.
It was earthquake, typhoon, and tsunami.
The amount of jism being. He was just known as a load blasting savage. I mean, it's just.
There's another gimmick, boy, and a good band name too. Now that you think about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the load blasting savages.
It's our first hit. Cover your eyes.
Yeah.
Kev, this week's stiff one is actually a fan recalling a story about Nash at the Marriott back in the day. This is courtesy of Big E 8005. Okay, and let's hear this story of some classic Nash here.
Do I want to?
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
So I went to the fucking Save-A-Lot, and I had my fucking Pondo shirt on, right? And this bag lady was standing there, and she's bag/cashier lady, but like she saw the shirt and goes, "Oh, Madman, I don't know, huh? Who is that? Like a band or something?" I said, "No, I was a wrestler." She's all wrestler, huh? I said, yeah. And she said, oh, you big boy, you must be a wrestler. I said, yeah, sort of, and laughed for a second. And then she says that back in the 90s, she used to work at, I don't know, the Marriott or one of the big-ass hotels over in fucking Louisville, right? She was a, what do they call them? The housekeeping bitches. And one night, fucking Nash and Pac and fucking Scott Hall was all in there and had a hotel room together. And she didn't know that they were still there, so she went to go in the room to start cleaning. And she opens the door, and as she's walking in, the bathroom door opens, and here comes fucking Nash, full-blown naked. And she was like, and I tell you, I'm a religious woman, but boy, Holly, was it a pleasure to see that. And I started laughing. I went, 11 soft, baby. And she went, every bit of it. So apparently motherfucker really is rocking some dong. But yeah, she said after they left, they went in to clean the room, and cases of beer, bags of fucking weed, fucking bottles of liquor, and they all tipped in and threw in fucking about $200 a pop on the couch because they felt bad about her walking in and seeing Nash naked. So yeah, it was pretty. So apparently there's some fucking cool ass dudes, which I kind of assumed anyway.
Do you remember the occasion? It was your average Tuesday morning. And
I bet you she walked in and fucking, I was naked coming out of the shower, and the other guys were fucking probably smoking up, and we probably felt like, well, since she didn't rat us out, we left her some cash.
Take care of her. $200, not fucking bad. Great one this week. Okay, Florida man or Jersey guy? Kev, I'm going to read you two headlines. They are both real. One references a Florida man, one references Jersey guy. Your record is stellar at this game. I think there's 17 wins. Let's see if we can get 18 here. Shoplifting duo attempted to steal $370 worth of condoms and energy drinks. And the other headline, man charged with battery after slapping police horse's butt. Shoplifting.
First is Florida, second is Jersey.
You might be on the opposite end of this, Kevin. The shoplifting duo is in fact from South Jersey. South Jersey police have nabbed two suspects involved with attempting to steal $370 worth of condoms and energy drinks. So they were in for a big night. Let's see. This is...
I'll guarantee these motherfuckers had Florida fucking driver's license.
Actually, it was two guys. I saw a couple. I thought it was a guy and a girl, planning for a big night. But
right.
It is actually Abby Graham. Oh, no, that is a female Abby. Okay, so that she was the driver. Louis Diana was the first man. And let me see who was the second here. Louis Diana and another unidentified man, it says. And then
it was a hard one because there wasn't really anything, I had to go on. I really don't see a whole lot of cops on horses down here.
Well, let's see. That might be a trick. Maybe it happened elsewhere. No, St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg. According to police, Alicia Lalani was charged with battery on a police horse after he slapped a police horse's butt with an open hand around 2 a.m. on Saturday. Two officers were patrolling the area on horseback, and they noticed the man approached them with one arm raised. Okay. Well, that's what's going on in St. Pete.
Yeah, but you can take a rider whip and take it all the way around the Kentucky Derby and pound the dog shit out of your horse.
Not a police horse, though, mind you.
No, just a young thoroughbred.
This was maybe the best week and worst week for football in some time. If you watched any of did you catch the bowl games?
Oh, that's all I did.
I
watched the Tennessee game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my problem with this whole bowl system bullshit. it was 4.5 weeks since these teams played.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like having the basketball tournaments and then starting March Madness in June. Like, what the fuck is that? TCU was beat to shit. They get 4.5 weeks. Tennessee's quarterback had an ACL tear against South Carolina. They got 5 weeks to put some guy in I've never even seen before. It's like that. And then they're saying we're going to add more games and more games and more games. Yeah, anybody that's a fourth rounder or up is not going to play in them. It's like,
well, right, because, but why is it scheduled? Like, why the gaps in scheduling? Like, the NCAA basketball is really tight. Actually, the March Madness tournament is probably one of the best organized
by far
championship.
I mean, you're finishing the your conference tournament, and that next day is the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like this bullshit of 5 weeks between games, and then now another week. It's like, what the fuck is that?
The seating is really tight too. I mean, it's a pleasure to enjoy every year.
And then anyway, everybody that's an Alabama fan knows that Alabama, with that much rest, would have drilled TCU.
Well, the games, the only blowout was really, LSU, right? It was like 60 something to. It was 7 Purdue, right? Citrus Bowl, but they were all like.
Tennessee was a blowout. Tennessee beat the shit out of Clemson.
Yeah, that's true. Tulane and USC, that was within a point, 46-45, Cotton Bowl.
South Carolina, if South Carolina would have went from the season and played Notre Dame, South Carolina would have beat Notre Dame. But with 5 weeks to get Notre Dame to get their horses back.
Yeah. Georgia or Ohio State, that's
South Carolina. That's South Carolina, man. They've got some studs on that team.
The frustration, though, you played college ball. Imagine if you coach at the college level, you can only count on your better players being there for 2 years, right? Maybe 3. Maybe somebody hangs on for the 3rd year. The amount of emphasis that has to go into recruiting, I would love to know the recruiting budget for one of these big schools.
Oh, it's astronomical.
Because it's all about the churn.
But also, you also have to realize, though, that they've got this thing where it's almost like, okay, say Saban. So Saban's like Calipari at Kentucky. You walk into the Kentucky locker room and they've got this mural of all the guys that Calipari has put in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a who's who. Then you walk into double doors, and in the locker room, the flooring is the flooring from the New Orleans Superdome where they won the last national champion.
Mm.
And you go into Calipari's room, his office, and he has basketballs printed from all these incredible victories. And then you go someplace else and you're just like, that's like Saban. So Saban has these camps, that these young kids go to that want to go to Alabama. So he's recruiting them. Like, I remember Magic Johnson and I went to the University of Michigan's camp. And while everybody else was getting checked in, Magic and I were getting a tour of the University of Michigan. Now, Magic went to Eastern Michigan. Went to Michigan State. And I went to Tennessee, but I know for a fact that my family did not pay for Michigan basketball camp. I know that Irvin's family did not pay for Michigan basketball camp. Right. And I know that Irvin and I were roommates, which was kind of convenient. since they were highly recruiting us.
Right.
And then Jay Vincent, who was also there, I believe, on scholarship because he wasn't paying. And Jay and Magic both ended up at Michigan State. And that was, I mean, that's the kind of shit that goes on. That illegal stuff, man. Crazy.
Well, technically, though, it's not illegal, right? Because you're coming to play a tournament.
No, because every other kid that's at that basketball camp is paying several $100s for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not.
Oh, you got a merit scholarship.
No, we're fucking being recruited by.
Of course. But on paper, it's a merit scholarship for your accomplishments to reward you.
And I'm sure some alumni wrote a check, so it wasn't, they had some coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he had a lawn care service that all three of us worked a week.
But
some bullshit.
I have to take my hat off to these institutions that have legacies of success at the college level. I'm talking.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the massive amount of turnover and the incredible recruiting efforts that you've
Steve,
flying all over the country.
Steve, can you find out right now how many Alabama Crimson Tide alumni are in the NFL playing?
Oh, God.
I bet you it's 80.
I know that Saban coached 4 Heisman winners: Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith, and Bryce Young, as recently as 2021. So Crimson Tide, 391 players into the NFL. Well, since 1936. But his record, Saban's
so most of those,
is 280 and 69.
A lot of those guys from 36 aren't playing anymore.
No, his record is 280 and 69. Is this current? Okay, so 2000. I'm sorry, 2020, 2019.
Yeah, not only drafted, but like the last column is Pro Bowl.
Right.
It's like,
that's right.
If you want to play pro football, you go to Alabama. Period.
Lesson here is, if you're going to coach college ball, get yourself in a school with an amazing recruiting system. It's almost more important than what you do once they get to you, getting you the right.
What do you think an NFL coach makes?
Like the league average?
Yeah.
Put it at $1 million.
Okay, it's probably, I'd say 6.
Okay, only head coaches, you mean?
Yeah, head coaches.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it might.
It's like 6. I think that Tomlin. I know that Saban makes 10. I know that Saban.
So 7. Okay, so average 7.
Saban's deal was $98 million whenever he signed it. So $100 million deal is what Saban's deal was.
In college, that's
unbelievable, right?
It's incredible.
But then again, I mean, how many he produces?
No, of course, it's worth it too. Yeah. Remember when that the big controversy was sponsorships, allowing, because you can't pay a college player, but then they were talking about allowing sponsorships to kind of be that.
So Dom has it. It's 74 players are currently in the NFL. 4 of them are on my Detroit Lions. So 74. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Belichick, $12.5 million, by the way. Yeah. So when they started to propose that college players, though they couldn't take money for playing their sport, they could take an endorsement. I don't think it ever happened, right? It was
no. Now they have where they have their intellectual property, and guys can go and do signings and make $20,000 and $30,000 to sign jerseys, and so I mean they've got a revenue stream now.
Right. Okay. So, but they still can't take Nike's money or anything like that for wearing
No.
for wearing their shoes or anything.
Because that's you're screwing with the university's money, because the university. I remember Tennessee had with some really good years, and I think they had a deal with Adidas, and then they had like a couple of shit years, and the next thing you knew, they were wearing Nikes, and their payment was a lot less. Like instead of a $7 million plus all gear, it was a $4 million in all gear.
When you were there, did they have athletic gear sponsorships?
Yeah. We my freshman year, we were still I think we were under Converse. And then my sophomore and junior year, we were with Adidas.
And did you have choice as to which model which make? Like,
I still wore the old, because we still had Converse there. I still wore the old. You couldn't wear you just had to wear all white Converse, but they were leather. They were just I don't know. They were just, I just liked the way they felt. Me and my roommate, Steve Ray, both were Cons.
The white on white?
Yeah, white on whites. But leather, I mean, they were sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wore like the Adidas Pro models. For like the ones that Kareem wore.
Mm-hmm.
I wore those for a while.
So, we had all this football to watch, and then in the Monday night game, and this is an ongoing story. So I do have to say that this is a Wednesday that we're shooting.
Yeah.
This was 2 nights ago. This happened. All right, so it's not even 48 hours at this point. But so like after all that, and then fucking Damar Hamlin, the hit that if I showed it to you on a replay and didn't tell you what was coming next, you wouldn't even blink at the hit. The tackle, really, it was contact, and then the tackle. Hamlin brought him down to the ground, completes the tackle, gets up, and then passes out. Turns out it's a cardiac arrest, as everyone knows. And there's just the way I saw it explained I have no medical training. This may shock everyone hosting a podcast about cock. But there is a millisecond in the heartbeat where the right amount of force can just shut the entire goddamn system down. And it's like that 1 in a million convergence. And that's what happened, apparently. Okay, what they know as of now, again, 48 hours out here, our information, leads to the cardiac arrest. And Kevin brought it up before, where the resuscitation is happening live on the field in front of, 70,000 fans and all the players.
And the thing is, if you've ever cardiac resuscitation, like CPR, number one, you would have had to have, because you couldn't see, you've got to get his shoulder pads off him. You've got to cut the jersey. You've got to cut the strap. I mean, you've got to get his
under the pads.
Yeah. And then now, and then it's a very violent, and I mean, they crack ribs. It's to compress the heart with a human body. It's violent. It's something I saw it as close up as you can possibly see it. And it's those guys, the post-traumatic stress that I have, I know that I share with every one of those guys on the field. Like that's their brother, that's their, and if you're on the other team, anytime somebody gets hurt in a sport that you do, it's always you, because you know that it could have just as easily been you. And it took so long. I mean, and I go crazy because maybe I'm so close to this, not even 3 months out from my son having a cardiac arrest. But it's like, it just seems like they were so slow. Even driving the ambulance out of the field, it was like they were going 3 miles an hour. Like everything they did just seemed so slow. And you would think that the ambulance that's in the tunnel would be basically a trauma unit. I mean,
well, the doctors, the personnel that go out onto the field, it's not just the ambulance crew. They have, the club physicians for each team.
But are they, most of those guys are orthos. Those guys are orthopedics, man. You don't have it. I would like to know how many teams have a cardiologist on the field.
I don't know if that's a requirement to be in the building or not. I don't know.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be now.
Is it possible, like, do they need to, and again, you have the most unfortunate firsthand being able to talk about this, but before you can lift and stretcher and load,
you've got to get the heart started.
I was going to say that there probably has to be at a certain place where they say, okay, we have 15 seconds, we can do this now, but they can't get off him.
Well, once you put the defibrillation on and you say clear, everybody clears, and they send the electric jolt, because that's what happened is that the heart is stopped and it needs electric current to go back through it. And my son, they gave him, he didn't even, you see it on those things where on the movies, and the person does the jolt. My son didn't jolt or anything. They gave him and they were just kind of like, it wasn't paddles. It was like strips, like a stick-on strip that you would put on a TENS unit almost. And they gave him a jolt, and immediately I could see the arrhythmia, but I could also read on the top of it that he was still in AFib. So even though he had a pulse, he was still in AFib. And he was in AFib until we got him to ICU, and then he had some kind of blood, whether it was his esophagus or an ulcer. He had some kind of blood. They were pumping blood out of his stomach, and I saw where Hamlin, they had some blood in his lungs.
From the compressions, maybe, right? Because
you never know. I mean, it's just so you don't know. Of course, he's so much healthier than my son was, but you would think, and I'm sure that going to the University of Cincinnati Trauma Center, but Halifax Trauma Center, that's where they brought Earnhardt. I mean, it's a good trauma center, but you would think that they would have a portable CT unit where they didn't have to, but if somebody's in critical condition, you should be able to put a CT unit over the top of them and get a reading. And they didn't have that at Halifax. And he was, you couldn't have put him on another stretcher and moved him with 95 things hooked up to him. So
a CT scan to be able to
see what fuck
damage.
Yeah. What are we dealing with? Because if you look at it slowly, that, the blow that he hits, their shoulder pads are so short now that, I mean, your heart goes to here. So if that blow was under this way,
mm-hmm.
I mean, you're basically getting that whole bottom of the heart. And that's what happens is, like, my son's, even though they got him back up, he was like 70/55. you know, where I would be 70 over 112, 120, whatever. Like they never could get his
blood pressure.
It was never his heart muscle
Right.
was damaged to the point where it wasn't pushing enough blood. And they were trying to find different things to get the bleeding stopped. That was eternally, and finally they did, because it's, you know, they had a tube in his mouth, and it stopped taking blood out. But at that point, I mean, it's like, you know, his heart, like when your heart's that damaged for that long, they put Hamlin in a coma.
Yeah.
He was medically induced. And and I think one of the things they can do is they can chill the body. My son's body was already going so cold, they had to go the opposite way and put basically like a heating to heat the body. So, but for his parents right now, who are sitting there and watching that respirator breathe for their child, it's just like, I mean, it was almost like it happened at 9:00 at night. My son happened at 10:00 in the morning. So we had, like, my wife and I kind of were figuring out, you know, where he would be, and the fact that he made it past, you know, the second day is good. I believe,
the last update I have here
his
is
his uncle's name is Dorian Glenn. And his name is Dorian Glenn. This was 2 hours before we came on tonight. And he said, his uncle said he seemed to be trending upwards.
The last thing I saw, they were able to lower the oxygen delivery from 100% to 50%. So he's breathing at a 50% capacity, which prior to that, he needed, I mean, he was breathing for him at 100%. So that's certainly a good indication.
And now, you know, now the thing is, you know, and I don't want to be, you know, but I think that the next thing we were dealt with was when we sat down with the trauma people, was how long was the brain starved for the proper amount of
oxygen.
Right. And now you've got that deal. So just like, yeah, if my son would have made it and been a vegetable, is that a win?
Yeah.
You know?
All questions that the Hamlin family is going to be dealing with.
And I mean, I pray for him, and I just, you know, but I'm sorry, man. If I'm the Hamlin family, you can try to tell me that my son's toy run is at $6 million. Fuck you. I mean, don't give me your let's feel good about it. Don't give me the
drive that he was doing.
Don't give me the ESPN Monday night kumbaya bullshit while you got a kid down in Miami that shouldn't be fucking on the field. Like, Tua. The NFL, things are chip. I read today, it was like fucking, they talked about Hamlin for fucking a paragraph, and then the next paragraph was, and the NFL has yet to determine when they're going to play this game, if they're going to be asked to play New England, da-da-da. Business is fucking usual.
Well, there are no plans actually right now to replay the game,
because they're trying to figure out right now, what the fuck do we do, because we don't want to come across callous, but we've got playoffs. We got shit to do. And you know that. You can't tell me that they're just going to, there's just, you know what, there's things more important than football right now. You can't tell me that that's what the front office and that's what the fucking, that's absolutely where this is coming from. Because it wouldn't, it wouldn't say, it wouldn't say that in the second paragraph.
I know.
There would be no statement from the NFL.
There's a lot of money at stake. There'll be an obligatory, his name will be on everybody's gear Sunday, probably on the helmets or on the arm, on their sleeves, or a patch on the chest, and then it'll be back to collecting that commercial money and business as usual, like you said, just selling out the stadiums. They started, I think the Bills started practice for the first time today, a walkthrough, they call it. No pads, maybe, a walkthrough. I don't know. They used to call it no pads when I played football, but
yeah.
And they signed Jared Maiden of the Jets, and from the Jets practice squad, actually, to make room to replace him, and actually released cornerback Xavier Rhodes in a corresponding move. But you will see that. And, the call to suspend the game came from, I think the coaches were the first ones. I think the officials first told them that they'd have 5 minutes to prepare the teams and get back out on the field. And I think it was the coaches that got together and said, they can't play tonight. Players are in no place. Coaches can't coach a game. Coach probably wanted to be in the ambulance with Hamlin, but I think Hamlin's Hamlin's mother, I know. Just a tough situation. And so they're jumping right to week 18 is apparently the plan. I don't know schedule-wise. Everyone talking about what they're going to do, but they I don't know. The thing is that the game has significance because of the team's records. I mean, that's why this is being debated hotly, because it's playoff implications. So that's where the questions come from. But Kev, did you see the coverage on ESPN at all when when we were unsure whether there was going to be a game?
Yeah, that was my Kumbaya reference.
With Booger, I don't know what the fuck his name is, Booger and the woman and the other guy, and they kept throwing to them.
I was waiting for them to go to Heidi. I really was. It's like, what the fuck?
I would have taken Heidi.
Get out of it. And then they go to this let's show as much of the clip as possible until he gets to his feet and then crumbles again. And then they figured, that's kind of fucked up. Let's just show the hit. And then they showed that like 29 times. And then finally, they start praying. And I'm just like, you know what? How about getting the fuck out of this?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I'm not blaming the three commentators because it was unplanned, obviously, so they don't have anything to talk about. Everyone saw the hit, and everyone saw what happened afterwards, and there was no information. They're expecting these people to talk for a half hour, an hour, however long it was before the game got called, to talk for an hour with no information.
A
solemn moment.
This is how fucked up this whole thing is. So I go to CNN. Sanjay Gupta's giving me his, nothing. Finally, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to go to Fox. I go to Fox News. On the bottom of the screen says, game has been suspended. First time I've heard this. I've been on every other fucking thing. Fox tells me the game's suspended, and they're showing me completely different pictures of the guys walking from the field down the tunnel, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad that I put on Fox because I actually got some coverage.
Before I had CNN, not CNN, I had ESPN on the whole time. Before they called the game, I watched somebody say they saw Stephon Diggs in a towel,
right,
having just come out of the shower, out of pads completely, in a towel, 11 soft. The crew.
So he'd taken a cold shower.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. He was down from 16 to 11. The crew was wheeling all this sideline equipment.
Everything. But at that point,
everybody knew. Everyone in the building knew.
The commentating is telling you it appears that that this is not going forward.
Yes, it appears with the towel.
As they take the bag of balls off the field.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah, they loaded up those carts and wheeled them out. I was looking at the fans in the stands to see if they were going to turn and head for the exits as they clear the field of anything sports related other than the lines drawn on the grass. And everyone hung in there. And then eventually they put up on the stadium boards, and then you started to see the X. I guess they made an announcement too. I didn't hear it, but just a really weird week for football. The highs of all those bowl games, all those close games.
Yeah, it's probably the best football I've seen all year on any level. Yeah. I can't say that, man, because the NFL has been so great this year.
It has. It's been fun.
I mean, the Lions are 8-8. We're going up to Lambeau, and we have a chance that, if we can win, we go to the playoffs. That's all you can ask for. Be down to the last game. In a perfect world, we're at Ford Field, but we're not. We've beaten the Packers once this year, so
we shall see.
We shall see.
Open that DraftKings app. All right, everyone. We're talking football, and the NFL playoff picture is locked in, and my go-to place for wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To kick off the road to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Okay, $200 in free bets by just laying out a $5 bet. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. You just get it, okay? Plus, all new and existing customers can get what's called a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend. Just place an NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10, okay? Action's so good. Why bet NFL playoffs anywhere else? I play every week. I'm a fan. I always do a parlay, okay? I do multiple parlays, okay? I have the early game action, the mid-game action, and I'm always in the night game action too, okay? And my strategy, what I like to do, if you're looking for a little tip, this is my preference, the win and the spread sometimes can get hairy. You play a team, they're up by a big lead, they lay off a little bit, right? So the team underneath gets a little close, they lose the game, but you know what? They hit your spread. I play player props, okay? When I've identified players on a team that are going to have an advantage, a mismatch with a receiver and a secondary, I'm going to play that receiver to get 75 yards, maybe a touchdown, depending on what they've done this season. I like the player props. I'll occasionally throw the team in there too. I usually stay away from the points, but I parlay that, a same game parlay, and it exponentially increases the prize. I might lay down $25 and I might have a prize of $250 on the line. Okay, depends on what you take. Of course, the odds slide. That's my strategy. That's what I do every week, and I've had success. I'm up on the year. Sorry, DraftKings. I know. I am up on the year in the hundreds. Listen, guys, just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code TKFN The Kevin Nash Podcast. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. Okay, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code TKNP for The Kevin Nash Podcast. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes below for details. Thank you, DraftKings. All right, we're back. Kliq This, The Kevin Nash Podcast. Hashtag Ask Nash on Twitter. It's the way to get your questions here. And if you missed us earlier, please give us your feedback to weekly episodes on Twitter. The cesspool that has become YouTube will not be taking comments anymore. Hey, Kev, you talk about growing up in Detroit. Do you and Eminem have any connections?
No. He's young.
Yeah, but I just assume
I was long gone.
Did you enjoy the movie 8 Mile?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because Kim Basinger was in it. No. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Joe Klemenchek, in the Monday Night War documentary, Eric Bischoff says he was offered the WCW videotape library at the close of WCW. He scoffed, saying without a TV deal, it was worth a couple of bucks, end quote. How much do you think he could have made on that after the network launched?
I mean, I don't know, a couple mil.
Yeah, I mean, they would have needed it, right? That's
pretty important.
The tape library is every wrestling federation. It's the history of every wrestling federation. Hold on to your tape library.
I think just some of that Buddy Landau stuff was just priceless.
Did you like that better than Black Bart? Bob Roop?
All that shit was good.
Cab Manning, with all the celebs you both have dealt with, who have you both fanboyed out over? Have you asked for an autograph? And who was the biggest prick to deal with? Question is for both Sean and Kev. As always, great show. Did you ever get an autograph?
I mean, when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, when I was a kid, but when you were working. I asked for one autograph. I was directing a video for a Phil Rizzuto charity. And I'm not a baseball fan, but I guess this is cool to hold it up here. I had Yogi Berra and Phil Rizzuto sign the same ball. Now all the collectors go, "Oh, you fucked up, dude. You can't have 2 signatures on one ball." I'm not a collector. They're both sitting there. I'm working with them. I had a few minutes. I said, "Yogi, sign this ball for me." Hand it to Phil. Phil, sign the ball for me. I thought it was cool.
I've got everybody that's hit 500 home runs. And my Jimmy Fox ball, which was one of the hardest ones for me to get, is on an Eastern League ball with several other Eastern League signatures. So it's like, go fuck yourself.
I know.
Find me a solo Jimmy Fox ball. That's not,
But like acting talent-wise, like in movies, I never really fanboyed because when you're working. It takes on a different thing. And I've already told my Robert Duvall scratching his balls story. But it was cool to work. I was directed by some good directors. Frank Oz in The Stepford Wives, where I actually did a one-line replacement for our friend Christopher Walken. When you watch the film, there's a point he's applauding for something, and he turns to his wife and says, "This'll be good." And, it's a lot cheaper to get me in to do that than Chris, so I did
I would think Soderbergh.
Oh, that's
like
huge.
when I met Soderbergh the first day on set. I was a huge fan of his work. I just watched Side Effects. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
It's either on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix right now. Side Effects, which Channing's in it. I think it's a 2013 film. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Jude Law. It's a good movie.
I'll look for it.
A little twisted.
That's okay. As are we. You know what? I did almost fanboy out Sidney Lumet. I did a Sidney Lumet film, but he didn't show up for ADR. I had his book. I was reading his book at the time when I was a film school nerd. So I went to voice the thing. I was hoping he was there. He could sign the book, but he wasn't there.
I did for Henry Winkler at a Comic-Con.
Oh, I think you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so funny because he was such a gracious, he was so cool. And so it was time for us to go do our photo sessions, our pro photo ops where the people get in line and pay, whatever they pay, and there's a background and you take your picture with them. Then they come back and pay you, more money to sign the damn thing. And he walked was going to go around so he didn't have to walk as far. And some assistant that was just working the convention, she said,
excuse me? And where do you think you're going, sir?
And he's like, I'm going to go. Next thing you know, I see him packing his shit up and leaving.
They pissed him off.
Oh, fucking pissed him off, man.
Oh, my God.
It was Madison, Wisconsin. It was what it was.
Wow.
Might be a great place to great place to live, great place to go to college.
Not a great place to Comic-Con?
Shit place to Comic-Con. Definitely not Salt Lake City.
All right, good question there, Cab. Let me throw another one in. I got to be directed by Philip Seymour Hoffman in a film called Jack Goes Boating shortly before he died. And he was great. He gave the best direction I'd ever heard to someone. Someone did a take, a woman, and it was a little big. It was a little theatrical. And he goes, yeah, no, it was good. He goes, do it again. Just take the icing off a little bit. I was like, fuck, I have to use that. Take the icing off a little. He was great.
I watched him and I was flipping channels today and it's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ben Stiller are playing basketball in this movie. And they play against this guy that's like takes his shirt off. Yeah. He's got it. It's long.
Along came Polly?
Yeah. And there's this scene, man, where the Stiller goes, "Hey man, could you put your shirt on?" And the guy's like overweight, but I mean he's like so sweatered out. He's that guy you see on the beach. There it is. And there's a scene where he like goes up and his entire body just goes up Stiller's face. But Philip Seymour Hoffman is like talking all this shit like he's a baller, just throwing bricks. I sat there today and I watched it. I laughed like White Lightning, baby.
Along came Polly. Have to look for
Yeah.
Ronin Pro. I'm watching some old episodes of Superstars, and I see the review from Raw where Sid turns on Sean. What was the deal with those power bombs from Sid? They are some of the worst I've ever seen. Did Sean mention them at all to you because you came in for the save after?
Well, if you remember our WrestleMania, Sean took the worst power bomb ever that I've given. I just think that Sean just did not like the feeling of, because he was always in control of his body. And when you get picked, you're upside down. I think you lose your whereabouts. I just think he did not like that because Sid powerbombed my ass and laid me flat.
There's that particularly brutal one to Pillman when he's in the cage.
Oh yeah, it started at War Games.
That he's 8 feet tall and the cage is
War Games, and he crunches them both ways.
Oh yeah, that's hard to watch. Sid, I got to talk about Sid. we periodically get questions for us about Sid, so let's cover it all here. I had Sid booked for an edition of a kayfabe video. We're going to do a breaking kayfabe. I was going to talk to him about his career, and wouldn't you know it, he didn't get on the plane. Lost his wallet at the airport. Go figure. But anyway, so what I wanted to tell Sid was if you had to create a professional wrestler in the 80s in a laboratory, it would be Sid.
Yeah.
It would look like Sid. It would sound like Sid. Some of the improv, well, when they let him loose on the mic, got a little hairy sometimes. But the intensity and just the look.
But he also did the Jake thing where he would go up and then he would get real quiet.
Yeah. But anyway, what I was going to say was what was his problem? Was he just his worst enemy?
Yeah.
Because he should have been the biggest name in pro wrestling if you walked into the laboratory and saw Sid there. Was he just in his own way?
Yeah. Because, the story I heard, and I don't know how true it is, but they were going to give him Hogan's boots. And they were going to make Sid, and he goes, yeah, but what you really need is a big vicious heel. And they're like, no, we're going to give you Hogan's boots. You're going to be the man. I think you need a big vicious heel. So, and then, you always get the Sid playing softball in the summer thing.
Right.
I always liked Sid. I've always considered him a very good friend. Loved to work out. Great guy to travel with. Never missed a meal. Never missed a workout. Wasn't a big partier, but once or twice a week, he'd get a little buzz with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, but Sid always liked the smoke. He wasn't going to drink because he wasn't going to take empty calories.
Mm.
I remember one time Sid and I were driving, and we came out of Marion, Indiana. So when we came in, we came off whatever the interstate is there, and we took a right. So when we came out, we both were stoned, and we took a right. So we're driving and talking, and and all of a sudden Sid goes, we're heading the wrong way. I said, why is that? He goes, we're like 60 miles from like Louisville. We're supposed to be going to Indianapolis. And I'm like, fuck. I'm driving too. I'm baked. And the thing was, it wasn't like, all we did was go up to the next exit, turn around, and just kept talking. Just like, fuck it. Like, we don't care,
Right.
But,
yeah, Sid could have been a special
he is.
addition to the.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he could just been superstar status. I think it could have been.
Look,
You talked about the Hogan thing. Yeah, it could have been him.
After
Hogan.
No, what are you going to do?
Me, I'm going to read Mr. Mike Noble's question. He says, let's see if I can go 2 for 2 on questions. While in TNA, you cut an unairable promo on the Dudleys after Chris Sabin was knocked out by the Dudleys and still tried to get their stuff in on him. If it's not private, could you share a little on this situation?
Sorry, I thought it was fucked up. I thought that they should have stopped the match. It wasn't like fucking TNA was, it wasn't like WrestleMania. There was 100,000 people at fucking the Impact Zone. I just thought they were careless. They hurt a young kid who just happened to be a fucking one of my buddies, one of my young bucks from fucking Detroit that I was
That's right.
very fucking fond of. And I just went out there and cut a scathing interview, and I got fined.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got fined.
The old fine comes out.
I got fined. Because I went into business for myself. So
I don't think it's fine worthy.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that from Bubba that Scott and I castrated baby faces, so you never know.
Okay. Windy City Chi-Town Challenges. This is the only good thing about Monday morning. Question for Kevin. If you had to pick 3 wines as a beginner, what wine would you recommend? I ask because you're quite the fan of wine, whereas I'm relatively new, not a big fan of anything that's tart, bitter, or dry, as I am more into red Moscato.
Drink beer. Fucking Moscato.
You can't give him 3 beginner wines to bring him over to the.
It does. If you don't like dry, that means you're really not going to like any of the cabs. You're not going to like Chiantis. You're not. I mean, fuck.
How about a Merlot? He can.
Okay.
Or a Pinot. They're a little lighter, right?
Pinot has a kind of that. It's got a weird taste to it if you're not a wine guy. You think, and then you got to ask his budget. Moscato. What I mean.
Let's keep it under 40.
All right.
You can get a good bottle of wine for that.
I'm going to go with Oren Swift, who is always my go-to, and the wine is called Saldo, Saldo, and it looks like somebody took one of those things we had as kids that you turned and you click it and turn and click it and turn and click it, and it makes a little label.
A bionic cock? What do you?
Oh,
that you'd pushed and it would depress the letter into the tape.
Okay. So that it's kind of a tan with white that says Saldo, and it looks like that's stuck on the bottle, and that's the only thing that's on the bottle.
Okay.
$27. It's some places will rate it 89, some will rate it up to a 91. It's a Zinfandel. It's a higher alcohol content, but it's not, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 2 for dryness, which is anything less than that, you might as well, like I said, you might as well be drinking Welch's grape juice.
Yeah. So a Zinfandel.
It's a
Zin.
Zin.
He was a white guy.
No, it's not. No, I'm talking about a red Zin.
Oh, a red Zin. Okay.
That's a red Zin. No, it's a 15.3, 15.4 alcohol content. Very alcohol forward. Nice little burn on the palate on the way down.
Listen, when we told you guys you were going to get it all here, we weren't lying. So there you go. Windy City Chi-Town Challenges. Try those wines out and let us know. Hit us up on Twitter at Kliq This Podcast. Kevin is at Real Kevin Nash. I'm at Kayfabe Sean. And this, Kliq This show, is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, we have a meeting tomorrow. Pending that meeting, you want to do another one?
Pending that meeting's outcome. No, I do this for my kid, man.
I'm playing.
Oh, okay. Fuck no, I don't want to do this.
Thank you to John Tenta and Paul.
If nothing else through all this, I don't know how I would make it through these last 12 weeks without you and Steve, Dom. Like this has been something that I can at least wrap my head around, my brain around, whatever the term is. And I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate just hanging in there with me. So,
and there's 80,000 others that you don't get to look at while you talk every Wednesday. And
and you know what? And the thing is, man, like, for every fucking douchebag out there, I know I went on a little bit of a tirade today, and I in no way at all apologize, because it's what the biggest problem in our society is we've got a bunch of pussies that walk around this planet that, even though, and I think a lot of them have this moment when there's the M and the F, and it's really fucking hard for them to determine whether they should check the M. So if you're that guy, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry I'm alpha. I'm sorry I fucking raised an alpha. I'm just sorry. And I'm so sorry you got to live in that fucking pathetic world that you live in. But that's all I can say. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you. And for anyone that's lost in your, I wanted to give a shout out to a long friend, a long colleague of mine, Dustin Rhodes, Cody. But Dustin lost his mom, and I won the WWF World Championship in November. I want to think it was 26th or 27th of 1994, and on December 27th, 1994, I lost my mom. And people will always say I was the worst champion, and I was a fucking 3-year-old kid, 34-year-old kid that been Oz, had been Vinny Vegas, had been Master Blaster, might as well have been fucking Warren Bates and fuck Deliverance. But yeah, you come out of the chute, and then have the company back you with going against their number one guy, Brett. Instead of going over on Brett, you do a double, fucking count out or disqualification. Like your first pay-per-view after you win, you don't even get the belt. And you want to call me the worst fucking, the worst, you know what? What do I need to just go back to that whole fuck you thing earlier?
And just change the target?
Yeah, just change the target, because you know what? My life has not been fucking a bed of roses. I lost my dad when I was 8 years old, my mom when I was 34, my son when I was 63. You know, if I don't look at you and fucking go into fucking the best Gregory Hines fucking impersonation I can at the airport next time you see me, sorry, motherfuckers. I'm just having a bad day.
See you next week.